Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our 2014 NFL team preview for the New York Jets. We're going to take a look at their offense, their defense, as well as their special teams. So let's kick this thing off with the offensive side of the football, starting with the quarterback position.
The one thing you can't question about Geno Smith is his mental toughness. Despite typical rookie ups and downs last year, Smith showed a lot of promise in year one for the Jets, leading comeback victories versus the Bucs, the Bills, the Falcons, the Patriots, as well as the Saints. Now in his second year in Marty Morningwig's offense and the increased talent around him, look for those 21 interceptions to drop significantly, while those 12 touchdowns could double, in my opinion. The Jets also bring in Michael Vick, who at this point in his career is still a valuable asset, but more as a mentor for both Smith and 6th-round draft pick Tajh Boyd. Boyd brings an intriguing skill set to the table with his running ability and short area passing skills that it wouldn't surprise me to see him utilize in a short yardage goal line situation this season. I think the Jets have three very good quarterbacks on the roster in 2014. Contrary to popular belief, running back Chris Johnson still has plenty left in the tank, and the Jets finally got themselves a legit home run hitter in the backfield. Because teams still have to respect Smith's ability to throw and his mobility, Johnson will enjoy better rushing lanes to rip off those long runs, more so than what we saw the last couple of seasons in Tennessee. Yards that a lot of times last year both Bilal Powell and Chris Ivory left on the field. Ivory and Powell are better suited for more of a complementary role as opposed to starting, which should then keep them fresh and productive all season. I'd also keep an eye on free agent signee Daryl Richardson, who is in the mold of CJ2K because of his acceleration and his home run capability. Fullback Tommy Bohannon quietly had a very productive rookie season as a lead blocker. This was a big-time problem for the Jets last year. A lot of the passing game issues could be tied to an ineffective receiving core that struggled catching passes all season long. Rex Ryan made it a focal point in the offseason to get better options around their young quarterback, so the Jets went out and signed Eric Decker of the Denver Broncos, who's a very good number 2 wideout, and in the draft they selected Jalen Saunders out of Oklahoma, Shaq Evans out of UCLA, and Quincy Enunwa out of Nebraska. All three guys are very good after the catch and reliable pass catchers, both inside and out. And you team these new additions up with Jeremy Curley, David Nelson, Greg Salas, and now what was a weakness is now stabilized. And while they lack a true number 1 receiving option, they have enough solid number 2s and number 3s to get the job done. They definitely got better right here at the receiver position. Another place they got better was at tight end by drafting Jason Morrow from Texas Tech. He's a new age tight end in the mold of Jimmy Graham and is a matchup nightmare. The Jets now have 2 formidable options at tight end with Jeff Cumberland, who is a dependable option in the passing game as well as being very good in the run blocking department. Adding Amaro to the receiving core and those guys they added via free agency in the draft gives offensive coordinator Marty Morningwig much more offensive flexibility. Once again, the Jets were solid up front along the offensive line. DeBrickashaw Ferguson and Nick Mangold played at an all-pro level as usual. Guard Willie Colon played well last year prior to the injury, and the hope is that he's 100% ready to go from the start. The other guard spot is held by Brian Winters, who had his ups and downs as a rookie, more good than bad, but you hope the consistency is here in year 2. Bruno Giacomini replaces Austin Howard, who left via free agency, and if Giacomini can keep the personal fouls penalties down to a minimum, then they won't miss a beat at the right tackle position. A rookie 4th-round pick, Dakota Dozier, is a favorite of mine. He played left tackle at Furman, but can play on the right side and also inside at guard. That just gives the Jets versatility and athleticism along their offensive line. Last year's rookies O'Day Abushi and William Campbell, along with free agent signee Ben Ajelana, looks to provide quality depth up front. This is a very solid unit overall for Gang Green. By far, this is the best unit on the football team. Muhammad Wilkerson and Sheldon Richardson are a disruptive and dominant duo. Wilkerson led the team in sacks with 10.5, while Richardson was the defensive rookie of the year, finished 6th on the team in tackles with 42 and 3.5 sacks, while also seeing time on the offensive side of the football as a short yardage and goal line back, scoring 2 rushing touchdowns. Both Damon Harrison and Kenrick Ellis are nose tackles that help the defense stay stout versus the run with their good play. And undrafted rookie free agent Kerry Hyder out of Texas Tech has a chance to not only make the roster, but log significant minutes. His addition was a steal for the Jets up front. This is a slight question mark for the Jets, not because of talent, but because of the age gap and consistency. There's wily vets like David Harris and Calvin Pace, who are two outstanding football players, and young talented players like Demario Davis and Quentin Coples. The Jets need their young players and rookies to continue to raise their level of play, as the vets' play will soon start to decline. Demario Davis has done a great job of that, finishing second on the team in tackles with 120, while Quentin Coples is the guy on the outside that Gang Green needs consistent play from down in, down out. Both Harris and Pace were once again steady, but slowly started to show their age last season, which is why in the draft the Jets added three guys in Jeremiah George from Iowa State, IK Enumcomparle from Louisiana Tech, and outside linebacker Trevor Riley from Utah to help bolster the depth with youthful talent. George and Enumcomparle could see significant time as rookies. Nick Ballard, Troy Davis, and Garrett McIntyre are very good special team players and are decent enough vets to be spot starters if need be. Another bonus for the unit would be if Antoine Barnes can return to what he showed last year earlier in the season before going down with injury. This is where the biggest question mark I have about the Jets on defense is located. Gone is Antonio Cromartie, who put in some great years here in New York, and the hope is that second-year player D. Milner takes big strides this season. Milner struggled during his rookie year but got better towards year's end, and opposite of him is where the biggest question can be found. The Jets brought in Demetri Patterson from the Miami Dolphins to be their starter, but it wouldn't surprise me to see two rookies get much more playing time. Dexter McDougal out of Maryland and Brandon Dixon out of Northwest Missouri State are excellent instinctual cornerbacks with ball skills, and in Rex Ryan's defense, I believe that is a valuable commodity. Darren Walls, Kyle Wilson, and even Johnny Patrick could also see time. The safety position is much clearer in my opinion. Rookie first-round pick Calvin Pryor was my #1 safety prospect in this draft class and has instant impact type talent. Free safety Antonio Allen is always around the football and is a very underrated player. And both DeJuan Landry and Jaquan Jarrett are good depth guys that have the ability to start if necessary. And I also still think Rontez Miles is a sleeper. They just need to give him extended playing time. He's ideally what you look for in a combo safety. The biggest improvement the Jets made in the special teams department was bringing in Coach Thomas McGahee to be their special teams coordinator. He's an excellent coach that has had success everywhere he's been. He'll be an integral part to jump-starting the Jets' return game, both kickoff return as well as punt return. He also has very good options to choose from in the form of rookie Jalen Saunders and free agent Darrell Richardson and veteran holdover Jeremy Curley. The kicking game is very solid as the Jets have a legit weapon in kicker Nick Folk, who was clutch last season, connecting on 91% of his field goal attempts, and punter Ryan Quigley was excellent, booting 45.9 yards a punt, which makes him a defensive weapon, which then in turn makes Rex Ryan a happy man. The reason for optimism for the Jets is obvious. They've improved their offensive weapons around Geno Smith, and you expect the young quarterback to take tremendous strides in year 2, and they already have a good defense and special teams unit already in place. And remember, they went 8-8 despite all of the challenges they faced last year and had an outside shot at the playoffs. Now, with all of those questions solved, most of those questions solved, they still can put themselves in position to get where they want to be. The cause for concern for the Jets is in the secondary, more in particular the cornerback position. Contrary to popular belief, Antonio Cromartie put in some very good years here in New York and still has a lot of good football left in the tank. So if guys like D. Milner and Demetri Patterson don't hit the ground running from day one, they could struggle and it could derail what the defense wants to do in 2014. The road to the Super Bowl for the Jets goes as follows. Number 1, they must avoid those self-inflicted wounds, the penalties, the turnovers, the blown assignments. That contributed to that football team finishing 8-8 last year and missing the playoffs. If they can clean that up, they'll definitely find themselves playing deep into January. And Geno Smith's play has to improve. He has to cut down on those interceptions, the fumbles, the turnovers as a whole. He has to play better in order for this team to fully take flight. And the defense and special teams can't fall off. This is the reason why they were 8-8, a big part of the reason why they're able to run the football, play good defense, and excellent special teams. If they have any fall off on any one of those units, the Jets will find themselves missing out on the playoffs once again in 2014. I have the Jets finishing second in the AFC East. This is a very good football team top to bottom. Defense and special teams won't have a fall off. They added impressive weapons on the offensive side of the football for Geno Smith at receiver and tight end, as well as in the backfield with Chris Johnson. And Geno Smith himself will take the necessary steps to improve as a passer and be much more consistent. So I can see the Jets finishing second and also coming away with the wild card in the AFC. And don't forget to order your copy of Football Game Plan's latest book, Stiff Arming Football Myths, an excellent book that you can find on our website at footballgameplan.com/books, available in both PDF as well as paperback form. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Jet Fan Forums for always showing Football Game Plan support.